doing? This is Black Shy Guy. Welcome back to the Black Shy Guy podcast, entering season 2, episode 6. Yes, I have been gone for a while, but if you heard my last 2 podcast episodes, I was downright sick and recovering from COVID. I feel terrific now. Not terrific because even when I exercise, I still feel really fatigued. I enjoyed my trip from Punta Cana. For my YouTube people who don't know where I went the last 2 weeks, I was in Punta Cana. I had an enjoyable time. If you do follow me on my social media, you will see all my pictures in Punta Cana. It was an amazing trip, but in the last day or 2 days of Punta Cana, I caught COVID. I think I didn't even catch it in Punta Cana. I think I caught it on the way and when I landed in Washington. I don't know. Whatever the case may be, I'm still recovering from COVID. I'm over it, but there's some lingering effects that I'm still recovering from, and it laid me out. It laid me out. So I've been out of commission. I only had enough energy to go to work, come home. All my social media activities was put to a halt. I had to recover. Even my trips to the gym has been dwindled down because I have to recoup. I have to recoup before I hit the gym hard again. And it's just been a very, very tough recovery for me. And I just thank God that I'm over it now and I'm recovering. I'm over the hill now. Let's so to speak. I'm over the hill and now I'm just coming down and I'm making it even. Everything is gonna equal out. Everything is gonna turn out fine. But for those on my podcast channel, obviously they know the whole situation. So before I even get to my topic at hand, because I am recording this for YouTube also, it will be on my podcast. For those who follow my podcast, don't worry. This episode will be also displayed on my podcast so you can listen to it. And for those who I've been absent from, I really apologize. And let's get to it because it's a very serious topic once again in Chi-Town. And yes, I'm entering Chi-Town with a very serious topic. Obviously, we know something that has happened this week. This week. And it's about a big YouTuber called CoreyxKenshin. Before we get into this topic, make sure you grab your large drink, as I always ask, because I don't want you feeling parched when I'm talking. I don't want you getting up, going to the bathroom, etc. Make sure you get that drink right now. Make sure you sugar it up, whether it's a beer, whether it's a cocktail, wine, water. I don't care what it is. Just make sure you get that drink. And as always, I appreciate that you're sitting at my table. Let's continue with this CoreyxKenshin situation that has popped up. And it's a very, very serious allegation. The reason I call it an allegation is because he doesn't have any proof. He just has assumptions because of certain situations that has happened and certain activities that has been going on with his channel. And just to run it by really quick, CoreyxKenshin, as we all know, is one of the biggest YouTubers around. I mean, massive. I mean, the minute he puts up a video, he gets 1 million views. His comment section is redonkulous, all right? Not even ridiculous, it's redonkulous, you heard? And basically, let me show you a small clip to what he's talking about.
You to know I have a lot of respect for you, and I didn't mean to drag you into the middle of this. Your channel just happens to be a great reference point because A, you're a really big YouTuber, and B, you're not black. So I can look at your channel, and then I can look at my channel or look at anyone else's channel and make sure that the things and the games that you play, that they're enforcing the rules equally to everybody. So I go to Markiplier's Mortuary Assistant Part 3, and he had the same situation going on, and his video wasn't age restricted.
So, just to give you a quick recap of what he just said right there, he compared his video to Markiplier, another big, massive YouTuber who is white though. Who is white. The situation with CoreyxKenshin is his channel has been his channel, a video on his channel has been age restricted. So he was pretty upset about that. And for some reason, it always happens when he's picking up pace, when he returns to YouTube, starts uploading, and for some odd reason, he feels that YouTube, I don't know, has it out for him when he starts picking up a massive pace with a certain video. So he feels that YouTube strikes him down just to slow down the pace, to slow down the possible larger audience he garnishes from those videos. So there's a video that YouTube age restricted, and Markiplier's also had the same type of video, same video game, same scenario, same scene that CoreyxKenshin has on his video. Same cutscene, whatever part of the game that they age restricted CoreyxKenshin's video for. And they did not age restrict Markiplier's video. That is where we're on right now. That is what CoreyxKenshin is explaining as we speak right now. And let's continue with the video so I can further explain my opinion and my scenario on what's going on here.
So I send the video to my YouTube rep. I say, hey, Markiplier has this situation in his video, but his isn't age restricted. Could you send that to the policy team and see what they say about that? He said, wow, Corey, that's some astute detective work. Let me send this to them and see what they say. What do you think happened after that? I'll give you a second. They came back and they removed my age restriction.
So they removed his age restriction, basically basing his innocence, his activities towards Markiplier's activity. So his own merit is not enough. They needed to base it on Markiplier's activity. And the fact that Markiplier is white is what CoreyxKenshin is putting all his suspicion on.
They took it off after they already rejected my appeal. I sent them the clip of Markiplier's video that has the same thing, and they removed it. Now, my YouTube rep, he was excited. He was, oh, great, this is awesome. Look, Corey, they took the age restriction off. I said, why? I expected them to triple down and give Markiplier an age restriction too. But they looked at Mark's video and they used that to verify my innocence.
You see what I'm saying?
So I send my YouTube rep a lengthy email.
Let's read this email. So correct me if I'm wrong, but this is the situation. YouTube reversed the decision they doubled down on yesterday after being presented by the Markiplier clip. I'm actually more surprised they reversed it rather than triple down and just age restricted him too. This actually speaks volume more. All the momentum of the first video has been voided for nothing now. Before I drop an exposed video tomorrow with the evidence that has been presented to me, I'm hoping for some clarity that might make sense in a way to dissuade me from getting ready to stir this pot further. Can you inquire why they changed their mind and who made the decision to reinforce the age restriction yesterday, as well as their reasoning for doing so? Also, why these incidents always coincide with me trending #1 multiple days in a row? I felt treatment towards me from YouTube, especially when I've been #1 trending multiple days in a row on multiple occasions, has been negative. CoreyxKenshin, you put arrow, not that's a typo right there, Corey. But basically, that's the situation. I guess, well, I would hope race would have nothing to do with it. How can it be proven 100% it does not? Okay, this is the opinion I have right here about this situation, okay? So I guess he released the video. I guess he released the accusation video because I'm assuming they didn't get back to him about the final decision they made on basically putting another age restriction on his video, which is, it was no point to do it because the momentum of the video has already been stopped. So to put a restriction on his video again, it defeats the purpose. You already succeeded by putting a first age restriction on his video. So the fact that Markiplier's video did not get age restricted as quick as Corey's, Markiplier's video has already picked up pace, has already garnished whatever it was going to garnish. So putting a restriction on Markiplier's video afterwards defeats the purpose also. I'm putting an age restriction on it because he's already garnished what he's already garnished, and Corey didn't garnish anything because they put an age restriction on his video the first hour of his posting of the video. So let's continue.
Telling my feelings about the entire situation feeling like there was some favoritism at play. There was either that or some racism at play, and that I would like to sit down with the policy team and figure out why my video was flagged in the first place. Actually, number one, was it automated or was it a human that age restricted it in the first place? Number two, who was the human reviewer? Because it's a human reviewer once you submit an appeal. Who was the human reviewer that doubled down and rejected my appeal? Number three, why did it take Markiplier's clip in order for them to reverse the decision?
All valid points. All valid points. But this is the situation, okay? This is my opinion on what's going on with CoreyxKenshin and why I kind of feel different and why I'm going the other way with what I'm about to say. I understand what Corey is saying. I understand why he feels that way. But you have to have more than one individual going through the same scenario as he is, okay? And yes, I understand what everybody's gonna say. He's a big YouTuber. He's one of the biggest. Absolutely, he's one of the biggest. He's one of the biggest and most. He's one of my favorites. To be honest, he's one of my favorite YouTubers. He's way younger than me. He's one of my favorite YouTubers. I love his passion. I love his edit techniques. I just love the fact that he does it all himself, which is what I do. I do everything myself. So obviously I'm not as big as him. All right, I know that, but I'm just saying I do everything myself. So the reason I have the opinion I have towards what he's saying about it possibly being racism, I absolutely do not believe it's racism. I don't. Because one of the examples I'm going to bring up is another YouTuber, right? Another YouTuber that goes almost through the same situation, and I would say even worse than CoreyxKenshin. He hasn't cried racism because obviously he knows why things happen to him. But I think the same thing that happens to him happens to CoreyxKenshin. Because no matter how much we want to, no matter how much things are being said and how many people agree with CoreyxKenshin, I don't believe going to the racism, I don't think it's a good idea. I mean, let's be honest. People of color, as of late, and I'm going to be honest because a lot of people are not going to want to hear this. People of color as of late has been using the word racism way too much. It's getting almost watered down. Unfortunately for the people who cry racism when obviously it's not racism. Those are the people ruining. And I'm not saying Corey is one of them. I'm just saying the word racism has been watered down to the point of to no end. Everything is racism now. Everything. You could punch a cop in the face and then the cop bare knuckles you down and beat you up, and all of a sudden you're saying, well, he beat me down because he's racist. And other situations, and among those, I mean, we have the situation in the park where the mascot obviously probably, I know one of them seen the little girl whatever and walked by or whatever without giving her a pound, and all of a sudden that was racism. Everything is racism, and I think it's getting watered down. And the reason I'm going to continue, I know you guys want to hear why I believe it's not racism. The reason I believe it's not racism, let me jump just right to it because obviously I'm holding it back. The reason I believe it's not racism is because there's another YouTuber by the name of Low Tier God.
Surprise, motherfucker.
Right? By the name of Low Tier God, and I know a lot of people when they hear that name, they're going to be like, oh my God, Low Tier God, he's white. No, listen. Low Tier God is also a colored individual. A Low Tier God is also someone whose video gets striked down constantly. Low Tier God is another individual whose Twitch channel constantly gets taken down. And you know why all of that happens to him? Is because whether we want to believe it or not, there are people in this world that only exist to try to make other people miserable. They have no purpose. They have no purpose. They only exist to try to bring other people down. That's their only purpose of living. Without that, they are nothing. They have nothing going for them. They're miserable. They're miserable in life, and they try to make other people miserable so they could be not alone, so they can at least have some company. And low tier God faces this daily. There are people who gather up just to strike down videos and his channel at a consistent basis. And a lot of times, and I find it mind-boggling, they succeed. They succeed in striking down some of his videos, and they succeed in also striking down his channels. And for some odd reason, Twitch or YouTube can't fathom that there are people that exist that do this. That do this. I don't know what their strategy is in finding out whether its video is actually deserves to be copy strike, or whether a channel deserves to be taken down. I'm talking at this point in time, I'm talking about Twitch and YouTube, because I'm talking about the individual as we know as low tier God. Which proves my point to why I believe CoreyxKenshin is not going through racism with YouTube. I believe there's a same group that gathers when CoreyxKenshin comes back, because as you know, there are channels that are out for CoreyxKenshin, and you can easily look it up. There are so many channels now that do not like CoreyxKenshin, that their purpose is to try to call Corey himself racist at some points in time. So I believe they gather up when CoreyxKenshin is trending #1. They all gather up and they complain about a video. The same thing they do with low tier God. They gather up like little roaches, like little ants on an ant farm, and they complain about a video, and the video either gets struck down, or they either get copyrighted, or whatever the case may be. And I believe that's what happens to CoreyxKenshin every time he's trending. I don't believe, because if YouTube had it out for Corey, his videos get millions of views. They never shadow his videos. They never do anything like that. Corey constantly trends #1 when he comes back, constantly. And there were plenty of times he did not get copyrighted when he came out with a video. He got millions of views easily with that video. He was trending sometimes for 2 weeks with a certain video. I mean, Corey is astronomically amazing in what he does, and a lot of times YouTube did not prevent his amazingness from happening for his fans and for himself. This is why I believe it's a group of people that get together that do this and try to exploit his videos for what it's not. And sometimes they succeed and sometimes they don't. This is why I believe it's not always racism. Sometimes you got to sit down, analyze the situation, and sometimes come to the conclusion that no matter how nice you are, there are some people who are always out to get you for some odd reason. No matter how nice you are, you can be in. That's why sometimes it pays just to be an asshole, because whether you're nice or not, there's always people who dislike you for some odd reason. And I know, we all know that CoreyxKenshin came out, and as you can see in the video, obviously you can see the rest of the video for yourself. I'm not going to show the whole video because I don't want beef with YouTube or whatever, because I'm a smaller channel or whatever, but I'm voicing my opinion about what CoreyxKenshin believes is racism, and I don't believe it's racism. And I don't know if Corey will ever see this channel. I don't know if Corey will ever watch this video. But if he is, or if he happens to watch this video or even listen to my podcast, Corey, I believe you have to go back and watch how many times you succeeded in uploading videos and how many times you succeeded in not uploading a video that did not get copy or age restricted. There's been way more times that you succeeded in videos that did not get age restricted or copyrighted. Way more times. That's why you have to balance out the difference in the two. Maybe YouTube don't want to tell you that people are complaining about your videos, but it happens to low tier God so much. And the reason low tier God found out, from what I believe he said before, is because he found the Discord. I don't know how he found it, so I'm not even gonna put words in his mouth. I forgot what he said, but basically he's seen the Discord that they gathered up together to talk about whether how he is, how they plan to copy strike his videos, how they plan to bombard his stream, how they plan to stream snipe him. There are people like this. There are people like this that have nothing going in life, that they gather up just to try to plan someone else's demise. And I believe that's what's happening with Corey. I believe because for some odd reason, there are channels now. And I was so surprised to see those channels. There are channels that do not like CoreyxKenshin, that they upload videos trying to sabotage his name, trying to say he's this, that, and the third. And I believe they have a flock. Listen, as long as Reddit and Discord is around, these kind of people can always flock together and plan an attack. Whether it's a SWAT, whether it's a stream snipe, whether it's copyright planning, whether it's to age restrict a video, these people have a plan and they are dedicated. They are dedicated. Not everything for us colored folks, when it rises to a situation that is serious, is racism. Not everything is racist. We have to be careful in using that word because honestly, you have to admit it, whether you're black, white, Chinese, whatever the case may be, racism is getting watered down. It's getting to the point that it's becoming unbelievable because how many times it's used and it's not really what is happening. And the reason why a lot of people use racism, and I am gonna use what Corey said because I love the fact that he used it, because you can tell that he's sincerely using it, not because he wants to use it, but that's because he's left with no other option to believe that that's what it is. That's why I find his explanation genuine. That's why I know for a fact that he's not like a lot of people who cry racism for no reason. He genuinely thinks that this is what it may be. But I believe it's not. I believe is what I just explained what it is to be. I believe it's people out to get him, and people are complaining about his videos. People are flagging his videos, and the reason I say this is because it happens to low tier God all the time. And if low tier God is not crying racism, and I'm not saying what happens to one has to be happening to the other, but you got to look at the factors here. You got to look at the not evidence. You just got to look at what's going on here and compare the two. What most likely is what is. Because there are a lot of famous colored people that people are always out to get. Look at Abba and Preach. Abba and Preach are constantly hated for no reason. And I believe those are the realest brothers on the net. I mean, they are always, even the people they hate, they agree with sometimes. Because you know why? They're real. They are the realest. I watch them. They are like the realest dudes you can watch on YouTube. Because I love watching people who, despite the hate they have for someone, will care to admit that, hey, I don't like the dude, but he's preaching the word right now. That's what I love to see. And Abram Preach, if you can go check out their videos, they also responded to Corey's videos and they gave their opinions, but obviously you're hearing my opinion right now. And I believe it's not racism. I believe it's people out to get Corey, and I don't know if it's gonna continue. I don't know if it's gonna get worse, but if YouTube does flag his video, it will prove maybe that there's something up. You know what I mean? There's something up if they start shadow banning his videos. And I don't believe YouTube is that stupid to do it to one of the biggest YouTubers around. I mean, Corey is not small. Corey is massive. He's a massive YouTuber. So if Corey uploads one of his videos, because he just uploaded a video. He just uploaded one. If that video does not hit more than 2 million views in a day, they're shadowing the video. Because Corey's video at a consistent basis gets more than 2 million views within a day. Within a day. It never fails. It never fails. It doesn't. So we'll see the result of that. But I believe my opinion stays. I believe it's not racism. Racism, like I said, is getting overly it's getting overly used. And sometimes it gets used to the point that it's embarrassing. Why we always gotta cry racism on everything? And once again, I'm not saying this part towards CoreyxKenshin, because like I said, CoreyxKenshin is genuinely believing it is racism. Because you can obviously, if you've seen this video, he genuinely thinks that that's what it is. There are people that just cry for no damn reason. There are people who cry because they know once they say racism, the bat signal goes up and everybody's eyes are towards that situation. And more than likely, they will get everybody's support. And everybody, without even analyzing the whole situation themselves, would just be like, they're right, yep, they're right. I don't need to look at anything else, they're right. Because that's how most people react. Nobody looks at both sides anymore, especially when the word racism is used. It's mind-boggling how powerful that word is. And I was watching a video about other people discussing the word racism and talking about Corey's video. And this is my opinion, in my opinion alone. This part right here is my opinion alone. They were talking about racism and how, you know, blacks are faced with a lot of situations. But at the same time, while they were discussing and explaining their situation, they were using the N-word constantly. It's like you're defeating your own speech right now, because whether you want to believe it or not, this is my opinion and my opinion alone. I don't care how popularized that word is. I don't care how many people say we popularized it, we made it popular, we made it. We reversed the word and made it our own. No, that word is insulting. Period. It's insulting. I don't care who uses it. And it took me a long time for me to remove that word from my vocabulary. It took me a long time. I mean, a very long time. I mean, so long. Because like everyone else, I got used to saying it. And what made me first start thinking about not using that word was someone called Ray. And Frank knows this. Frank is someone who always visits my YouTube. Those who listens to my podcast know about Frank, you know. And Ray told me when I use that word, he's like, that I find that word very insulting. I find that word very insulting. You shouldn't be using it, in my opinion. You shouldn't be using it, because that word was used to bring down any person, whether they were Spanish, Puerto Rican looking, black, whatever the case may be. As long as their skin was dark, that word was used to degrade us. So for people to take that word and say we made it popular, no, you didn't make it popular. That word is still degrading. I mean, if Martin Luther King and all those people who fought to remove that word, obviously they didn't fight to specifically move that word. They fought for way bigger situations. But what I'm saying is, if those people were alive right now and they heard the way people in rap use it, the way all of us use it, they will flip over in their grave and be like, I'm out of here. I don't believe that word would ever be popular if you look at if you look at it at a certain point of view, because everybody has a different point of view when it comes to that N-word. We're allowed to use it. They're not allowed to use it. They're not allowed to use it. Even if it's in the rap music, they got to skip that word. They can't say that word. They got to skip the word. They can't say the N-word. Only us black people can say the N-word when it's even involved in the music lyric or whatever the case may be. It's ridiculous. Nobody should use the word, period. Nobody should use the word, because that word should be buried under the ground, period. Just like a noose is very offensive, anybody who's light-skinned and walks with a noose will immediately get attacked in the street, because that noose was used to kill people of color. The N-word was used before that noose was wrapped around people of color. So why is the other one not degradable, but the other one, doesn't make sense? Why is the other one offensive, but the other one is not? Because supposedly, so let's say somebody takes a noose and say, I'm gonna popularize the noose. What then? It just doesn't make sense. Just doesn't make sense. But I went left. No, I did it right. I went left. Let's come back right. Let's come back. You know what I mean? We hit a fork in the road and I went left. Let's get back. Let's get back on track here. I believe CoreyxKenshin is facing a mob. I believe he's facing a mob. And I don't know how he's gonna deal with it further. I don't know what's gonna happen. Obviously, we all know the video he put out. Obviously, we all know the situation he's facing right now. Obviously, he's gonna see if he's gonna get shadow banned. But I hope it works out for him, and I hope he realizes it. I really do hope. And as much as a lot of people want to believe it is racism, I do believe and I do think that Corey should get with Low Tier God and they should talk about the situation, because they both face the same situation in different scenarios. Low Tier Gods obviously has evidence that people does it to him. Corey doesn't have evidence of YouTube being racist or if people are doing it to him. I think Low Tier God should guide him and show him, look, listen, this is the way. This is how you look at videos. This is how you find out if there are people actually out to get you. I don't know. I'm just throwing scenarios there. I'm throwing possible solutions there. So I believe those two should talk, though. I believe those two should talk, because who better than to talk to someone who gets massively stream sniped and flagged and age restricted on videos that he makes because of people who have no life? Who better to talk than to Low Tier God? I would talk to Low Tier God. I would, because it would narrow down a lot. It will, and I believe Corey should go that route. I really do. But I'm looking at the time, and I really appreciate everybody who's took the time to stay and watch the entirety of this video. And for those who are listening to it on podcast, listen, I am back. I will have another episode on Sunday, and I possibly will have another episode on Saturday, a surprise episode on Saturday, so look out for that. But for all those who have shown me massive support, I really appreciate it. And yes, I will be releasing a video talking about the Whaley Zhang. It's official. Yes, I will be talking about that also. I talk about a lot of things on this channel. For those who are new, who possibly find this video, I talk about a lot of MMA, and I talk about video games. I talk about video game reviews, and my podcast is massively about video games, but I do talk about other situations also. But anyway, for those who are new, I appreciate it. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit the like button, even subscribe for any upcoming new videos. And as always, I really appreciate it, and I really love the fact that you have sat at my table. I'm out of here. Peace!
Arch criminal who must be put away. Another innocent victim of homicidal maniac.